Yo, what's up, street dogs? Street vlogs. Street. Godity talk vlogs. 60-pound waist vest dogs. Alright. Welcome to the house. Alright. Talking about the big D energy. Alright, so looks like it's become this funny meme that everybody's looking for that big D energy, right? Practical questions is, when you do have that big D, what is the point and what is the consequence of it, etc. And as a consequence, it's like, how do we obtain the big D energy and how do we deal with it, right? Some thoughts. So the first thought is, if you want to maximize your test, get in the direct light. It's the best way to get the big D energy, right? I think okay, so assuming that the ancient Greeks, the ancient Spartans were in fact the most manliest of them all, what they do, I mean, Zack Snyder, I think the only really good films worth watching is like kind of these like sociological, philosophical, maybe like quasi-historical films. Anything that's physical. That's why I kind of like action movies, right? So like The Matrix, right? You know, it's like, you know, when Neo, aka Keanu Reeves, let's just say it's Neo, right? When Neo's like, oh, my eyes hurt. It's like, why do my eyes hurt? And Morpheus goes, because you have never used them before. I love that. And also, you know, John Wick, like the ultimate Spartan, right? Actually, one thing I like about the John Wick series is it's so mercurial, yet like kind of humorous and kind of like a little bit nonsensical, right? Like, even I remember the first John Wick, right? Like, I resisted watching it for almost 1 or 2 or 3 years, and then I was talking to my friend Grace, and I was like, oh, you watch John Wick? And she's like, this is like the funny, like, the dude's like an assassin, you know, kills the dog, he's trying to get revenge. I'm like, this sounds like the most ridiculous film of all time. But I think whoever wrote the screenplay kind of knew it was hilarious, but just kind of rolled with it, and they essentially created this brand new mega universe, which is pretty fun. So I think in real life, similar to speaking, you're just kind of creating your own like little universe. So the other day I installed SimCity Classic on the laptop. I purchased it almost like 5-6 years ago when we were in Vietnam, and I recently rediscovered on the laptop. And you know, we're just playing SimCity, and it's like, man, real life should just be SimCity. In fact, actually, SimCity is funny because you kind of have this like panopticon god, you know, the mayor view, right? And just kind of realize like, all these people, this is the little promises. So basic. Same thing with the roller coaster tycoon, right? So part of me, it's like, man, I wish real life was just like a big ass sandbox. But anyways, so yeah, that movie 300, Fight Club is, you know, actually, like, I feel like Fight Club is such a great film. And also, obviously, the book is probably good too, but it's just an overall critique on capitalism, consumerism, right? Like, some favorite scenes from that movie, it's like, you know, Brad Pitt, aka the apex of masculinity. I actually feel kind of bad for Edward Norton because he kind of gets typecasted as this, like, you know, kind of like effeminate loser type guy, right? But anyways, so, you know, Edward Norton was like, oh, what car do you drive? And then, let's face Brad Pitt goes like, I don't have a car. I'm like, so gangster, right? It's like, you are not your car. And so, but anyways, So yeah, I think I don't know, it's like Cybertruck, it is like everyone wants to pretend like they're in a big D swinging contest, but some practical things to consider is like, why does it matter? I mean, I think superficially, you know, when you're in like high school, college, etc., essentially you're trying to find the most beautiful and attractive, the fittest mate to hopefully have the most beautiful best kids with, right? Is my thought. But I think the reason why capitalism, consumerism becomes so funny is that it's kind of anti-kids. Like, you know, everyone's trying to everyone trying to assert their individuality, their masculinity, what it is, right? Like, you know, bed as many beautiful women as possible, but like all while in fact like wanting to stay a bachelor and not have kids. It's kind of weird. Like, for a minute everyone wanted to be George Clooney, but we found out that George Clooney is not a good one, because I think it was actually was it Nassim Taleb who uncovered that George Clooney was in fact like bought out by the Saudis or something? I don't know. But anyways, judge no person or man until you've seen them IRL, in real life, is the thought. Kind of like my life is the ultimate playground. Actually, yeah, so some other funny thoughts about why it makes more sense to rent in an insanely desirable neighborhood than own in a kind of okay neighborhood. Is that you have access to all this, right? It's like your free playground, even though it's technically semi-public properties. I'm like, man, my personality is so well fitted to LA. It's like kind of like being this like public spectacle entertainer type, right? And I love the sun. Love the sun. Sun is the source of all energy and power. Yeah, so I mean, the first thing is obviously just having kids, begetting kids. Oh, some sudden things you could do to get some more of that big D energies, right? Is no shirt, no hat, no baseball cap, no sunglasses, no facial hair, no tattoos. Like, am I the only like super jacked dude I know who has no tattoos? It's like, think about the snitches. And it's so funny too, because like the reason why I don't trust no guy who has tattoos or whatever is that you're essentially trying to show how manly you are, or your tribalism or whatever, by getting tattoos. But it kind of makes no sense, because A, it's super expensive, right? B, it's super time consuming, and C, like at that age it's kind of ugly. Like, to me, the naked human body is the most beautiful. I mean, look at all the super professional weightlifter bodybuilders, right? None of them had tattoos. Like, even like I think I was watching a bodybuilding documentary, weightlifting documentary on Netflix, and one of the contestants had like some minor tattoo on his belly or something, and as a consequence he got dinged by the judges in the, if you're trying to be Mr. Olympia, you don't want no tattoos, facial hair. And like, and also with LA, it's like, why all these dudes have like Hitler mustaches? I kind of don't get it. And also wear shorts. Real men will show how jacked, how dominant you are by how titanic your thighs is. It's like, I think having the turbo thighs is the new future. No, and the sun feels so nice. And actually also like people who want to be happy, right? You want to be happy, just go to Southeast Asia. It's like Southeast Asia is the best. Is ultimate warmth, ultimate humidities, ultimate coziness. Actually, even Nietzsche thought the reason why a lot of the German philosophers were so emo was that it was mostly a cold weather complaint issue. So as a consequence, if you want to try to avoid that, yeah, just go somewhere warm, right? It's yeah, Southeast Asia is good. Yeah, and actually it's also the thing I find so funny is that, you know, people say, oh yeah, you try to be manly, center intention, whatever. It's like, come on bro, like anybody who tries to assert their whateverness, like nobody cares about your dog. Like I trust no guys in LA who has like a rescue dog or a dog. I'm like, come on, you're just trying to have a little emotional pet slave. I think any man who ends up getting a dog, unless it's like an attack dog, I guess, is showing some sort of weakness or insecurities. No, it's like, why is modern day man so emotional? Has guys always been so emotional? Maybe, probably, but I think still kind of a very weird trend. Kingdom of the planets of this, man, it's getting out of control. Yeah, so I don't know, I can't speak for women, but for men it's like everyone's trying to out cockfest each other. Yeah, honestly, if you want to be king of the road, just get a Cybertruck. And actually it's funny too, because talking about status symbols, so currently if you are driving a Cybertruck on the road, it means that you opted for the Cyber Beast, which is the most expensive one. What is like, maybe it's around like $125,000 out the door, which is a good deal because you think about it, it's still like half the price of a Lamborghini Huracan, which is essentially an Audi R8 with a body kit. And also oh yeah, the sun feels so good. And also like a Aventador with the doors that do this. It's what, like $350,000? And I think the reason why the new Revuelto is so kind of a little bit lame is plug-in hybrid. Essentially it's like a Prius Prime on steroids. It's like, just want the Prius Prime, just get a Prius Prime. And also if you want billionaire doors, like a practical notion, I think let's get a Tesla Model X, I guess. Just seems like a lot easier. Or like people with like, how much is it for? Like 700, like $1 million, 500? I don't even know, right? So yeah, it seems bigger is in fact better. Like my brother-in-law John Narciso says, the overlanding is like kind of the new rice rockets. Like all these dudes who wanted Integra type bars when they were in high school, now they're grown up and they have kids, they want to go on ventures. They just it's funny too because the trends have been so funny, right? Like at first it's like, how low can you go? Like you keep like lowering your car, and then you camber it, right? And now it's like, how high can you go? And then high, right? If anything, like you want a gangster car, lift your Prius. Have a lifted Prius with fog lights and a battering ram might be a funnier solution. But also the problem with modifying your suspension is you going through turns or whatever, it's just not as good. Like also the problem about being in a lifted car the ride is like very bumpy in a bad way, kind of makes you car sick. So yeah, typically that's why our aftermarket suspensions are worser than standard, right? Because like nobody like really racing their sports car in real life. Like be like I think the most intelligent thing is one thing that I like, which my friend Don Dillon does. His favorite daily car, just like a big ass Ram truck, and then he just has his Porsche race car on the side, his GT3 on the side. And yeah, so I think maybe the best solution is, if you really want a race sports car, just get a race sports car alone, track only, and then actually track it. And if you want a really dominant car, get a truck. Real men drive truck. Real successful people drive trucks. And I think also trucks are interesting because they're actually hugely practical. I think even my friend Lauren told me something funny. Is like her dad's kind of like a little bit of a hippie, and his life advice to her when she bought her first car is like, buy a car that you could otherwise live in, which is a great piece of advice because assuming that all finances and economics is all a matter of framing, it's much it's much cheaper to buy a Cybertruck or a Tesla Model X or whatever than buying a house. Like even a mediocre house right now, it's like $1.2 million, 1.5 million, 1.7. Like these numbers are insane, right? And like the notion of land ownership, it's like you're only still kind of leasing or borrowing the land. It's like as long as you had to pay property taxes, you don't own the land, the government owns the land, or the city municipality owns the land, right? And which, I mean, property taxes are good because without it, we wouldn't have a fire department, police, all these nice things. But alas, it seems that yeah, so yeah, try to think off the grid, think portable wealth and power, and you create your own universe.